I pressed the stream swap button a little bit too soon there. Cut off the end of the intro, but hey.
How you doing? Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by a man in an Ice Cream Uploads esports jersey that goes by the name of Bibby. Just to confirm, it's the esports jersey that goes by the name of Bibby, not this guy. Just to put...
Yes.
But hi, Bib.
Hi, Graham. How we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I'm good because we are here to talk about a few video game stories, but we'll tell you about that in a few seconds because this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We have the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games to talk about right now. And that's what we'll do, so please do feel free to grab yourself a seat, grab yourself a drink, some snacks or whatever. Get yourself comfy. We'll be here for the next hour or so going through a number of stories and then giving you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. But that's not just it. We want to hear your thoughts and impressions and your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. I did say the stream because we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live every weekday-ish at 10 a.m.-ish. There's two ishes in there now. God damn it.
I mean, it's twice this week already, and we're only on Wednesday, Graham. So this is usually our maximum amount of times a week at the moment. So we're doing something right.
I just feel like Chandler Bing in it though. Like, could you be any more ish?
No,
probably actually. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, we could. So yeah,
H is on the end of it.
So yeah, the live stream is on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, but I'm going to hold that for a second because we have a raid. We've only just started the podcast and Zombie Spike Zombie. How did you get on with Starship Troopers, by the way? Red Shakes Roughneck. Nice. I was watching Spike playing that a little bit earlier on. Did you like it? Was it good? Nice. For those of you dropping in with the raid, we are just about to start The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, which, I've said already, but, we do say so ourselves. So we are live on Twitch, but the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play and lots of places. I almost ballsed it up then. That's why there was a store. Tried to style it out. It's fine. There is lots of places where almost 200,000 people have watched and listened to our podcasts since we started. So please do feel free to get involved if you are in the stream, because a lot of people get to watch later on but don't get to interact like you guys do right here, right now on Twitch. Before we jump into the show, I want to just run a couple of things by you. Shout out to our sponsors. I'm sat on this chair, which is a GT Omega chair, by the way. Hey, is that a GT Omega chair that you're sat on over there, Bib?
It most certainly is, Graham. Yes, this is the GT Omega Zio chair.
Nice. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Tell you what else is beautiful. I'll jump back into the split screen. Is the GT Omega Pro Series chairs. So those are chairs that we used forever until we got... basically until we got these. Technically, we went from the Pros to the Sports to the Zios, but the studio still has Pro chairs, so you will have seen us sitting in Pro chairs. Anyway, GT Omega have just released a brand new version, Gen 2.0 of the Pro chairs. We tweeted about it earlier on. Do feel free to go and check those out. If you are after a new gaming chair, the Pro chairs are like the... I don't want to use the phrase cheap, because they're not cheap.
Budget friendly.
Yeah.
I think that's their official statement for it.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing with GT Mega chairs is they aren't cheap anyway. They're not cheap in terms of build, but they're not cheap in terms of price, but they are good quality. But you can get good quality without spending as much as you want on a Zio. Zios, don't get me wrong, are phenomenal chairs. They're expensive, but you get what you pay for. But the Sports are great, and then below them you got the Pros. So it's like their entry-level chair, and they've just upped the quality of the entry-level chairs. I know this seems like a massive spawn segment, and it kind of is, because we are partnered with GT Mega. We aren't being paid for this, by the way. We just have some of the Pro chairs. So if you are after a new chair, do feel free to look at the GT Mega Pro chair, because the new one, it looks like, I can't remember what it's called, the Zephyr, I think it's called, which is like one of their top end chairs just below the Zio. It looks like that, so it looks like they've kind of like done a Zephyr Light sort of chair, which if that's their entry level chair, then that's pretty cool. But yeah, we aren't spawned on that. We do get a spawn if you buy the chairs, by the way, though, just to clarify. If you did buy a chair and you used our link or used code ICU, you will save some money at checkout and support us as well. So that's where the spawn does come in. But that sentiment, take it or leave it. It's up to you. But yeah, that's just saying it. So shout out to GT Mega, who've just announced a brand new chair within the last 24 hours, or a brand new format of chair within the last 24 hours, and it looks good. Go check it out. Go check it out. Nice.
Jay's just said that they're actually out of stock already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just put the chairs you shared today are all sold out.
I mean, that shows you though. Like the sport, not the sport. So that's it. There's the pro, the sport, and then that's where you get to like the Element and the Zephyr and the Zio chairs. There's quite a few different types of chairs in there. But the pro is the entry level version of it, and the fact that they've upped the game of their pro shows you that it's an investment like any gaming chair is, but they've. How can I put it? The science and the ergonomics behind their gaming chairs has definitely improved. Because I'm not going to lie to you, gaming chairs are not as good for you as ergonomic chairs. That's the reason me and Bibby are sat in the Zio chairs. They're expensive chairs, but they've got ergonomics. There's all sorts of ergonomic sciences into making it comfortable, support your back, lumbar support, all the rest of the stuff. And gaming chairs don't necessarily have that. That said, we got some of the Pro XL fabric chairs, and it's like sitting in a cloud. Yeah. Really good, really good. So this is like a newer version of that. So a brand new Pro Gen 2 fabric. Yes, please. But anyway, wasn't intended to talk about it that long. I just really like GT Mega chairs, and it's good gear, and it's pretty cheap compared to other gaming chairs that are out there. So nice. Chair be like, I got your back. Yeah. I clicked on the link as soon as you shared it, and it was sold out in the UK. Available in EU, though. Interesting. I will speak to GT Omega and see if I can get some some stock updates if anyone is interested, so we can find out what the crack is. That's the power of ICU. They only just mentioned them and sold out. God damn it. Talking about ergo chairs, and here's mine. Here's me on the sofa, curled up like a prawn. Sometimes it's good too. I'm often sat on the couch watching streams with a dog on one arm and a laptop on the other, with a phone on the cushion next to me for when I want to get involved in chat, because feck, trying to type in chat with the TV remote. Ain't got time for that. So yes. Shout out to GT Omega. Also, just a quick reminder that if you do watch this stream and you do get adverts, because Twitch has all the adverts in the world right now, you can subscribe to the channel, and doing so will get you ad-free viewing, but you will also get included into the loot drop, which is a subscriber-only giveaway that we do each and every single month, because we love you guys. And do you know what? We were over 90 subs-ish last week, and we were like, if we make it to 100 subs, we'll do an FC24 giveaway, but we've dropped down below 90, so I might tweak that to make it to be 90 subs. I was thinking about it the other day. So if I haven't done, let me see if I can do it now. Where is it? Follower on it. Manage goals. Sub goal. Yeah. End. Change sub goal to be. I want to change the goal to 90. Start. There we go. Eesh. So we're on 86 sub points. If at some point over the next couple of days we get 4 more subs, we'll go up to 90. So we'll have a giveaway then of FC24 on the stream. Hi. Yeah. Oof. So if you know anyone that has a primer, do feel free to throw it down. Speaking of which, nice. Go Awal, says David. Thank you for the 33 months, David. That takes us one closer. So that's 85 subs, 86 sub points. We only need 90. So, loved it. Anyway, I'm sitting in an office chair built in 1999. Wow. Yeah, we got you. Code ICU, GT Omega. Let's go, baby. Leveled up. How we diddling? Welcome in. Just in time for us to kick off the scoop, we have a few stories for you today. Kicking things off with a Microsoft/Starfield story. Starfield's release was Game Pass's biggest ever new subs day. Which leads to our social media post, which was absolutely clickbib. If you don't know what clickbib is, clickbait made by Bib. That's kind of how it works. What was the headline you put together for social media, Bib?
The headline that I put together for social media, Graham, was Starfield is keeping Game Pass afloat.
Oh, clickbib. So yeah,
you're welcome.
Starfield's release was Game Pass's biggest ever new subs day, which you can kind of expect, but we'll go through that first. We'll then jump over from Xbox to PlayStation to talk about Marvel Spider-Man 2 being the biggest physical PS5 launch in the UK for 2023. So overall, Xbox and PlayStation having a good year so far. The PS5's optional disc drive requires an internet connection to connect, which is bizarre, but there you go. So your physical console needs a digital connection to be able to use your physical... What the fuck? That's one story that we'll go through. Before we talk about GTA fans being convinced that a big reveal was coming yesterday, and now they just wonder if Rockstar's trolling them. So that's the order of play. But for kicking things off. Have you played Starfield at all, Bid?
I have. I've not genuinely though. I've not played that much of it. I've even got Cyberpunk on my console. And I probably played 3 hours of that. At some point, I will get time. At this moment in time, though, I do not have the time.
Do you know what? There's a lot of time. Is it good time? Let's take a little time to talk about this. Jordan Midler at VGC says Microsoft says Starfield's release was Game Pass's biggest ever new subs day. There's probably a few people like Bibi in there that got Game Pass and need a little bit more time, because there's a lot of people out there that've got Starfield more than anyone that's ever had anything ever before because of that. So the Bethesda RPG powered a record Q1 for Microsoft's gaming business. Starfield generated the highest single day of Game Pass subscribers in the history of the service, Microsoft has claimed. Or should I say highest single day ad of subscribers, ADD, not advertisement. The news was shared during Microsoft's latest earning call for the Q1 period, covering July to September, which includes the release of the much anticipated RPG. Quotes, "We released Starfield this quarter to broad acclaim," CEO Satya Nadella said during the call. More than 11 million people played the game to date. Nearly half of the hours played have been on PC. And on launch day, we set a record for the most Game Pass subscriptions added on a single day ever. End quote. Starfield was the best-selling game in the US in September. The game was available day one on Xbox Game Pass, incentivizing users to sign up for the subscription service. In addition to the full-price version of the game, many players also purchased the deluxe edition upgrade for Starfield, which allowed them to play the game a few days early before it entered Xbox Game Pass. According to Microsoft, Starfield was primarily responsible for the growth in Xbox Game Pass and first-party content, which saw its revenue grow by 9%. Okay, I'll keep going because we've got some stats coming up. Microsoft gaming business enjoyed a record July to September quarter in terms of revenue generated, partly driven by the release of Starfield. The Xbox parent said it had generated over $3.9 billion from gaming, which is its highest ever Q1 report for the brand and a record for a non-holiday quarter. Okay, we'll stop there. Starfield, the biggest ever single day of new subscriptions to Xbox Game Pass was Starfield's launch day. The most profitable ever July to September quarter, pretty much single-handed down to Starfield on Xbox. How big has Starfield been for Xbox in a year where it has been admittedly faltering until that point? Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
The power of Bethesda, Graham. Like, I know people end up giving it a lot of shit. I know people are saying that all the games are exactly the same, just placed just in different places and different eras. And do you know what? To a large extent, they are right. Like, the mechanics of Starfield, to a large degree, are that of a Fallout game. Obviously, just they have a lot more tweaks to that have been done to it, because obviously Fallout, depending on which game you want to look at, Fallout 4 or 76, there's been quite a significant amount of time between Starfield and Fallout 4 coming out. It has a lot of character of what came with Skyrim. Obviously, just completely, they are generations apart, not just console-wise, but obviously the weapons that they're using within those games as well. But at its core, if you put any Bethesda game side by side, chances are they're going to look not just in terms of the visuals, but they are going to look and feel the same. The premise is usually the same with them. So Bethesda have always been, in my opinion, when it comes to playing story-driven games, up there with the creme de la creme. You're looking at your Naughty Dogs alongside them, and there isn't that many other video game studios that can give you that sense of I don't think freedom is the word I'm looking for, but the will to be able to play the game however you want. Whether or not you want to categorize that as freedom, I'm not too sure, but these games are predominantly an escapism. Like, you can literally do whatever you want. However you want to play the game, you can spend 80 hours just doing side missions if you want. You don't want to have to touch the main campaign. You might have to, in certain instances, to move the story on, so maybe go to a different planet or something. But in terms of wanting to be able to do what you want, you can talk to every single NPC that is on a planet, and your chance are you might get a side quest off of it. And that's what people want when it comes to stuff like this. I am not in favor of every single game becoming an open world game. However, if the right studio are doing it, then I know it's going to be a winner. And this does not surprise me, that with how many blanks Microsoft have been firing recently with their own studio titles, that it's taken something like Starfield from Bethesda to emphasize the importance of what Game Pass can bring to you, because we've talked a million times on this podcast about how Game Pass are going to continue to take your money later on down the line, and having games like this on your service is definitely one of the key contributors to that. Likewise with Call of Duty, obviously, when that eventually, back catalogue and all, ends up dropping onto the service too, there will obviously be price hikes. We can't say that is going to stay. That they can't say that that's going to stay the same. We've obviously had a price hike earlier on in the year, as well as a new tiered system. So the fact of the matter is, Game Pass is here to stay. And I might have got a bit shit-arsey with the title today, but I do think it has a small element of truth in there as well. I don't believe that Game Pass would have failed without Starfield, but it has never done better with it.
Yeah, I agree. Sheep's made a good comment. Well, actually, JMK before that said Starfield? Never heard of it. Fallout TV show coming out next year. Is that confirmed? I feel
Yes,
like
it is.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I also feel like there's been that many TV show things. Maybe I'm forgetting it. But nice.
I saw the Prime account. It's like Fallout Prime or something is the Twitter/X handle for it. It is the real deal, and I actually think that could be one that TV show.
I just dropped an absolute wedge of frames. I'm still dropping frames. I think I may have stopped. Okay, we're back. I had a little bit of a network burf. Then it didn't actually cut out though. So you guys have probably just got Fs in the chat, but it's fine. We appear to be back. So you were saying that appears to be one that could what? Sorry, babe.
I appear to be one that actually will translate exceptionally well to a TV show. I feel like the premise of Fallout and nuclear war and all of that stuff that goes into what makes a good Fallout game. I believe in a post. It did feel like at one point we was going through in cinema like an apocalypse type genres. There was everywhere. Same with zombie films. They was everywhere at one point, but we've kind of moved out of that now. So I definitely think there is a place for this to be returned, and with such an IP like Fallout, what they could actually do with that and the stories. That I hope it's an original story. That's my first port of call with it, because obviously we've seen The Last of Us on have a TV show made of it. We kind of know the story of how that's going to go, right? So the fact of the matter is, I would love a Fallout TV show, even a film, but I would like it to be an original story instead. I'm not too sure if this is going to be an original story. I don't know if it's going to follow the games, but I think this will actually translate extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, I could be ignorant here, so there's definitely a big scope for this being my ignorance, but I know that The Last of Us gets spoken about because of its story, whereas Fallout gets spoken about the experiences that you can have within the game. So I feel like The Last of Us has to replicate the story, whereas if that is the case, Fallout, just give people the world and give them a new experience. So I don't know if that's the case. Someone could go to me, no, actually, one of the most memorable stories ever will be Fallout 3, New Vegas, 4, New Vegas, or whatever it was, but 3 or 4, New Vegas. Anyway, you get the idea. But for me, like, yeah, the fact that Bethesda could be doing that and propping up Game Pass at the same time shows you that this is the comment that Sheep made. Microsoft paid $7.5 billion for Bethesda, so they got half their money back from their first game. I mean, technically, that there has been other games since Microsoft took over, because obviously there was Deathloop, and then there was Ghostwire Tokyo. Is that what it was called? Obviously, Doom Eternal was around that sort of time, as was Fallout 76. But all of those will have been in motion. Starfield would have too, but heavily in motion and almost entirely developed after that. So I agree with the sentiment there, 100%. But so yeah, they've got half their money back for the first game. If those extra subs stay on Game Pass for 3 months, they're in profit. So that's off the fact that if it costs $7.5 billion to buy Bethesda, it's generated over $3.9 billion from gaming in this quarter alone. That's not profits though, by the way. That's just generating. So the operating costs aren't in there. Technically, Microsoft could be operating at $3.8 billion operating costs, and they could have only made like 100 grand kind of thingy there. We don't know. We don't know what that is. But even still, just judging off of turnover, 3.9 billion in a quarter. They do that again in Christmas quarter, which is next. very possible. Christmas, you always sell a shit ton. So that's the money for Bethesda in operating revenue. That's just turnover, obviously not profit. But yeah, Bethesda was always going to be something that had the potential to earn it back with its major IP. And the way that they deprioritized things like the Elder Scrolls and so on, so that they could focus entirely on Starfield, because Elder Scrolls 6 was announced and then we heard nothing from it. And that's because they took all the teams off that to work on Starfield, because Starfield had to be successful. Not just for Bethesda, but for Xbox this year alone. I mean, obviously that they took all the teams off before this year was kind of a rocky patch. Halo didn't land. The only thing they've had of any real substance over the last year was Hi-Fi Rush sort of stuff. So they did the right thing by putting all of the focus and all of the eggs into the Starfield basket, but making it work. Whether people start to pick faults with it after launch, people do that anyway. People don't. People can't just have a good thing and be trusted to live with it. People go, yeah, this is great, this is great, this is great. And then after, I've woke up and I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the Novelist one-off. It's fucking shit, it's wank and it's crap. And then it's instantly, they go from positive to negative, they flip the switch and it's like, all right, just settle down. People are still loving this and will continue loving this forever. You might not like it as much as you did yesterday. That's a sign that you should probably turn it off and play something else, because that's your cue to move on. So yeah, Starfield breaking all of the records is the way I put it in the title. Does not surprise me. The fact that it's been nominated for multiple golden joysticks in like 2 weeks' time, I think it is. The golden joysticks are taking place. And I think it's a shoe-in to get the Xbox Game of the Year golden joystick. The only other one that could push it is Hi-Fi Rush. And I feel like that could win the awards if whoever the judges want to be alternate. Like, I want to give it the alt vote. Like, Starfield's a shoe-in, yeah, but I really liked Hi-Fi Rush, so that gets my vote. And it's like, judging panels, and it's not bad, but judging panels can do that. You often see that where they just go, well, Starfield was too on the nose. I was like, yeah, but that's the whole point. It was meant to be this on the nose, big, all singing, all dancing, you can do everything experience. You can't put it down for that. Like, that's what. So yeah. For me, it is Xbox's Game of the Year, and I think it was like audio and something else it was voted for. So yeah. It should win a bunch, and I'm glad it did, because they've nailed it. And it's good for Xbox, because even Tito, Mr. Xbox boss himself, was saying it's not been a great year for Xbox until that point. So nice. Yeah. All back. It cut out for a second, but that's it. Yeah, Fallout could be awful. Not gonna lie, like Final Fantasy. Well, the Final Fantasy series was that not good? Was there a series? I can't remember. There's like. Resident Evil was the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of the world, by the way. That crap on Netflix. I can't believe
that you sat through that.
Fucking terrible. I mean, I knew it was going to be bad. Don't get me wrong. Bibby had said, Bibby is sat there with an RPD jacket over his shoulder and Resident Evil picture just in the top of the shot and all the rest. Bibby is Mr. Resi, and he wasn't going to watch it because it was going to be shit. And it was a lull of broadcasty stuff. There wasn't that much out, and I thought, fuck it, I'll go for it. Watch first 2 episodes. So it's a bit more like teen drama, but we'll go. And it just got worse and worse. Special effects were crap. The story was never going anywhere. But I thought it's got the dude from The Wire, the police chief. I can't remember his name. The guy that passed away this last 12 months. Anyway, he was in it, so I thought you've got decent actors like him, and it's got to turn it around. I'm in it now. I might as well watch to the end of the season, even though it's possibly the worst thing I've ever seen, because it's Resident Evil. They might turn it around next season, and it just got worse and worse, and then got cancelled. Fuck's sake! So as long as Fallout's not like that, then yeah, fuck.
I just honestly I just can't be arsed. Like, the only Resident Evil things that are worth watching is obviously Ice Cream Outlaws when a new Resident Evil game comes out, and also the CGI films. There is the one that came out in the cinema maybe 2 months ago. I haven't seen it yet. I think it's called Dark Fate. The CGI films are fantastic, and the first couple of actual Resident Evil films, the one that Paul something, I can't remember what it's called. Paul Anderson, I think it is. Those films, like the first 4, are a decent watch. I'm not going to say they're brilliant, but there was a decent films. The rest of it, absolutely toilet. Absolutely toilet.
I mean, I had the original Resident Evil film on the weekend because it was on like ITV2, and we'd finished watching whatever we're watching. Left that on. I mean, it's got fucking Michelle Rodriguez from back in like a heyday, Mila Jovovich. Some not the greatest storyline, but like, yeah, grew up with that film. Fucking loved it. Fucking loved it. The CGI hasn't aged
Yeah, I was just about
well
to say
at all.
It's good until you see the liquor bust out of the little cage thing, and it's just like, oh god.
That's literally what I was talking about as well. And when it gets the dude on the train kind of thingy, you're just like, ooh.
But to be fair, I was like 11 or 12 when that came out, and it was like the future is now. And now I look at it and go, whoa.
I remember like there's a bit where there's a zombie with like a broken foot dragging an axe, and you just hear like the of the axe being dragged through the dark, and I remember that like pricking the hairs up on the back of my neck as a teenager. And then watching that the other day, I was like, oh, it's actually not as scary as I remember it now, which is a bit disappointing. But it's still, the whole thing overall, I'm like, yeah, big fan. Like the idea that this underground thing, and it's all self-contained, so yeah, exactly. But just like talking like broadly generic, this underground thing could be under your city. You don't know, and that's the bit that I kind of liked about it. When it all breaks out of the hive, then it's kind of like, but the red crew, yeah, you're all going to die down here. All that stuff. Yes, please. Anyway,
yeah, red crew.
That's a big
I'll
old
watch it again.
big old tangent. Starfield's release broke all the records. Lance Reddick, that's the guy. Yeah. Final Fantasy.
The guy from Destiny.
Yeah, the one who does the voice of the Thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy was a movie, but crap. Was the Twisted Metal series any good? I haven't seen it, and I don't know anyone personally that has seen it. That said, the dudes at Kind of Funny watched it, and they were like, it's a Twisted Metal TV series. It's gonna be wank, but actually, it's not at all. It's actually really good. It's not like fucking The Last of Us, like, you have to watch this shit. It's fucking incredible. But watching it going, I expected this to be a shit show. It's not even just okay. It's really good. It's better than good. It's not the best thing you're ever going to watch, but it's a solid 8-9 sort of viewing. So yeah, apparently it's good, but I don't know. I've not seen it. So yeah, there you go. How many would have bought the game instead of getting it on Game Pass? Talking about Starfield, says JMK. Sheep says, I'm sure someone would have done the analytics to project what it would have done on Xbox and PC alone. But that's the thing, though, yeah. So, like, how many would have bought the game? Probably a shit ton. How much money would they have made? Probably a shit ton. But that's the longer tail marketing campaign. They've probably sacrificed billions up front to earn X billions more over a longer period of time. And that's where the subscription marketing model comes into it. So modern world thinking, so GG's. Yes, Paul W.S. Anderson, the guy behind the OG Mortal Kombat film, was on a work call. What am I being insulted for now? Being Mr. Xbox boss. Nice. We're just talking about Starfield being make or break for Xbox, and I said, even you, Mr. Xbox, said Starfield needed to land. And it did, which is nice because it smashed all of the records. As has this, jumping over to PlayStation. Ravi Sinha, Sinha's Tito's here, we might as well talk about PlayStation now. Ravi Sinha from Gaming Bolt says Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the biggest physical PS5 launch in the UK for 2023. Sales for Insomniac Games' acclaimed superhero title were about 5% higher than previous record holder Hogwarts Legacy. So GFK's top 10 best-selling physical charts for the week ending October 21st are now available. As reported recently, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 debuted on top, and even with sales down significantly from the first game, it's the fourth biggest physical launch in the UK this year. However, as reported by Games Industry, it's the biggest physical PS5 launch in the region this year, with sales up nearly 5% over Hogwarts Legacy on PS5. Launch sales are roughly 3% lower than God of War Ragnarok, though the latter had more days on sale than Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Box sales for the sequel are 38% lower than the first game, launched in 2018 for PS4, but 41% higher than Miles Morales, available in 2020 for PS4 and 5. With how strong digital sales market is, we'll need more details to truly gauge the game's success relative to its predecessors in the UK. Nice. Okay, we'll leave it there. I always find these articles funny at the moment, because if you wonder why you're getting stuff all over the place when it comes to this story, stuff being stats, it's always the only sales that you can get reliably, the only sales figures you can get reliably are physical sales charts, because that way you have to go into physical stores that report on their sales data, and we get that sales data reporting from all the stores that have sold every copy of Spider-Man up and down the country, and we can report how many were sold over the course of the weekend. That's how the games industry in the UK has operated forever. But now we're moving to a digital world. PlayStation and Xbox and Steam and Nintendo, you buy directly from them. And they don't share those figures unless the marketing stats look good for them, because they're gatekeepers. They hold the keys to their content. If a game's great, all of a sudden Xbox will be like, we've made 5 million players play the game on day one. If the game is Redfall, crickets. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, would anyone, let's just say we don't know what the figures are. Spider-Man is probably the best game that PlayStation have ever had. Would anyone be surprised that one of their most best-selling games and most critically acclaimed series so far has a sequel, and it's done very well in terms of story and critical review? Would anyone be surprised that a Marvel big-selling PlayStation game has become the biggest physical and or digital game of the year? Not me. Not me. So it's a story, but it's also not a story, and it's also not really stats and facts either. The gist is Spider-Man 2 is the biggest potential physical PS5 launch in the UK and biggest potential digital launch in the UK. We won't know until PlayStation tell us, but it seems like it's going well. So nice. Starfield good, Spider-Man good, everyone good.
Everyone happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it did taper off quickly, though. Steam figures are way down. Spooderman? Never heard of it, mate. The thing is, though, that for me was always going to be the case with Starfield. Like, it tapering off quickly. I feel like when they get DLC, people will come back for it again. It was one of those, and this is where I feel like one of the dangers of selling your game through a subscription service comes in, is you aren't necessarily guaranteeing yourself open access to a user base to play forever. Because if people are buying Game Pass for 1 month to play Starfield, then you're not going to have people playing it for a long period of time, because you've got 4 weeks to get that shit done. So people finish it in 8 days and go, that's great, nice, I'll go back to playing PUBG now, or whatever else you're going to play. Graham, settle down, mate.
No, definitely not after 8 days.
So yeah, there's always the issue that people have like splurged, taken a week off work, got their 40 hours in, finished the mainline story, done some side missions and stuff, and then gone, okay, the pressure was there. But then when they get DLC, they'll come back and do it again. So until Xbox has rolling exclusives, which I still don't feel is far away, especially not with obviously the Bethesda content stream that we've got, but tying that to the Activision stuff that we'll be following on all of the other studios that they've had forever that haven't really been delivering. Soon as Bethesda starts releasing good stuff, not Bethesda, Xbox releases good stuff regularly, then I feel things like Starfield just stay on the charts for longer. But that's just the nature of subscription gaming.
Yeah, that's it. It could be a case where someone ends up playing the game for, I don't know, the month, enjoys it, finishes it, moves on to the next thing, cancels their subscription, but then they'll go back to playing Starfield when they find it in a bargain bin at Asda or Game or something when it's down to 20 quid, and they can afford to just go, do you know what, I'll return to this, because people are still playing Skyrim, people are still playing Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Like, these are still having concurrent players that other games would be totally envious of. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. We'll come back to this story in a year's time, and Starfield will still have an ungodly amount of people playing it. Maybe not be like CS:GO numbers or Valorant numbers or something like that, but it will just be envious numbers to a lot of games in a similar genre, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, Tito says it's good, but definitely feels like they cut corners on some mechanics. I hope Bethesda flesh those out over time. I don't doubt that they will as well, because that's Bethesda's like MO, really. They do that sort of stuff. They release a game to a great fanfare and then continue working on that game for longer than a lot of other companies do. Even Fallout 76, which for all intents and purposes should have been DOA compared to a lot of other games. Fallout 76 should have been DOA because they didn't have any of that like NPC stuff. There was all sorts of corners that were cut, but they added their Wasteland update and all sorts of other stuff to the game and kept building on that. So I feel for something like Starfield, we're going to get the Star Wars moment, the Celebration edition that brings all of the people over to the game, but without the game being a shit show in the first place. I feel like Bethesda will add in, we're bringing some DLC. By the way, here's something monumental, a tectonic shift in what you could do in that game that opens up more opportunities. I would not be surprised if we get that from Starfield, because they were talking about, was it Starfield they were talking about they would like to see it being a 10-year game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That doesn't surprise me though.
Yeah.
Because in 2 years' time, you might end up getting we'll say 18 months. 18 months, you might get a small little bit of DLC. Then in 2 years' time, or 2.5 years' time, you get the substantial bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be getting the DLC that is basically Starfield 2.0. I'm not necessarily going in the same footsteps of what Cyberpunk have done, because what they have done to bring that game back around is unbelievable. Starfield does not need that kind of TLC. It just needs more at the end of it, because endgame is most important when it comes to games like this. And it's not an MMO as such, but in terms of you getting to the end of your story, you need people to continue playing, and having 1,000,001 planets is definitely a good way to start. But in terms of actual quest lines in RPGs, they need to continue it on somehow, and I don't think that we are a million miles away from getting something. You'll have a few hot fixes and stuff in first there, but 18 months, I think we'll end up getting something not substantial, but enough to keep you going until the real meat drops.
That's what she said.
Yay!
Where did I get to? Bibby is still buying every edition of Skyrim. Exactly. That's
Confirmed.
it. All Bethesda need is like 4 Bibbies, and then that's the money done. Nice. Tito says, not doubting UG, but EA called Anthem their 10-year game. Yeah, they called it and then released it, and everyone knew within 7 seconds. But it's very likely that within a couple of weeks, Starfield will have 2, maybe 3 golden joysticks trophies, and possibly Game of the Year awards and stuff like that. So, yeah, different horses for different courses. I mean, one is running the Grand National, and one just got put down at the first fence. So,
yeah,
it's a shame as well, because looking at the two at the original looks, if you ask me, off their first launch sort of content, which one I would want to play, it would be Anthem. And here we are. So having a bit of pizzazz versus having some substance is a very different thing. That said, Anthem could lead to an exceptional Iron Man game if EA have got anything to go, which we've spoken about in a previous podcast. I found Starfield pretty boring, and that's fine as well, because a lot of people found Skyrim boring, like me. But Bibby, 76 copies later, not so much. I can't remember the project name they gave Anthem, can only assume it was ironic. Yeah, Live Forever. That's what it was called. Project Live Forever. Wait, what? No Man's Sky had the flying from planet to planet into space thing, which was real cool. Starfield, you teleport between tiny little interesting spots. Yeah, the thing is, though, No Man's Sky was DOA, so it had to have its No Man's Sky moment. So the fact that that lived through that, have that moment, imagine what Starfield could do, already starting off from a place that's further forward, with the learnings that they've had from similar games, be that Elder Scrolls, be that Fallout, with the learnings that they've had from those different communities, the technical understanding that they have, and all of the might of Microsoft and their cloud options and so on going forward. Like, cliche and definitely on point, but the sky literally is the limit kind of thing with something like Starfield. And I don't believe they needed to have a 10 out of 10 game. A lot of people go, it needs to be 10 out of 10 game this. I was like, no. What it needs is to be a success. And a good 8 out of 10 that people speak fondly of is a success. And that gives you everything you need to build your 10 out of 10 game down the road. And you will never get your critical 10 out of 10 then, by the way. Very few publications go back and update their publication and go, yeah, it was an 8 out of 10 at launch, it's 10 out of 10 now. But what you do win is the mind share and that concurrent viewer base, and you'll get your little pop, your viral surge on Twitch and in Steam DBs and stuff like that kind of thing here. So I think Bethesda and Starfield is long-term success, not just short term. They've been great now. I genuinely feel like Microsoft, Bethesda, and all of the brain power that they've got there could make something phenomenal going forward, and I believe it will. It was a musician, Van Morrison or something. Hot take. I actually enjoyed Anthem. Someone want to unmod the mod, please? Sorry. God damn. I bought No Man's Sky.
I know Michael Willis both loved it as well. They both loved Anthem. They said it was good. They got through it quick enough, but they enjoyed it for what it was.
I mean,
they wish it had more.
Yeah, that's the thing. The people that didn't enjoy Anthem were the people that expected it to reinvent their world of gaming and occupy their time for a long period of time. Because it was like, what was it, 10, 20 hours, this sort of stuff, and done. And within that 10, 20 hours, it wasn't necessarily everything was brand new sort of content. So that's the thing. Enjoying Anthem is like enjoying Marvel's Avengers. There was a lot of stuff to enjoy there. But if you are looking at it and wanting more, then yeah, you could easily be let down. If you were happy to just take it at face value and enjoy what was there and let yourself get taken away with the moments, there was definitely moments to take you away. But there you go. Anthem was all right as well. The flying suits were cool. There was just nothing to do in the game, and that's why it's fine, because those flying suits are going into Iron Man now. It's going to be great. Yeah. Starfield is in my top 10 all-time best games. Yeah, but that's because you got to, like, what was it, 75 stone or something, carrying potatoes to find out where you'd die. Wasn't really carrying potatoes. He was trying to figure out, like, how much you could carry around in-game, and he got there eventually. They had more loading zones than content, which is great. That's what we all want. Yay! I love this podcast. Not gonna lie. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate.
Hey, Nacho.
We've refined it over time to make it the thing with a lot of podcasts is, and it's not a bad thing. Every podcast can have their own style. The thing with a lot of podcasts is you listen to them. Ta-da! That's not really groundbreaking news there, but not all podcasts do you get a form of interaction, and it's difficult to balance interaction with making something where people can listen. So we try to include some form of interaction, which is where the chat comes in, but we also try to drive the content forward between ourselves. So it's not just you guys watching us talk, which is the easiest way to record a podcast, because you can know what your time limits are, you can stick to topic and so on. We try to do something that's a bit more immersive, but sometimes the hour-long show is 3 hours long, so that's what it is. I don't, says 12. I don't remember saying who has charisma. God damn. Love you, 12. Is this the real Nacho or Senor Nacho, the Spanish imposter? It's got to be the Spanish imposter because Dr. Mike is here. What is it? Fuck it. It was like, how is it? I don't know how to say the word. Juego or something, which means gaming or game. So Juego de Nacho or something, or Nacho de Juego or something like that is Spanish Nacho. That's gaming Nacho in Spanish. So Juego de Nacho is the one that we watched on stream last Wednesday. Nice. Is there a Spanish fanboy for Nacho? It's you. Goodbye. See you, 12.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Puedo ser un impostor. El poco loco. There you go. By the way, do watch Nacho's Spanish video. The bit where he goes, El poco loco, at the beginning. Wonderful. It's a little crazy. El poco loco. It's a little crazy. That's what you need. So when you get your gaming Nacho logo...
Rib. Oh.
Just getting a Nacho sticker. So when you get your gaming Nacho logo, you need a tagline underneath it. Like in quote marks, it just says El Poco Loco. There you go. That's all you need. That's it. There you go. I've sorted your branding for you. Nice. Free brand consultations on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. Let's go, baby. Okay. Next news story. Sticking with PlayStation. And not quite as good news as we've got games that are smashing it, because we've got hardware that might not be. This is a bit interesting. I've not read the article, but the title doesn't say the best stuff. Jordan Midler at VGC has the article. It says, the new PS5's optional disk drive requires an internet connection to connect. What the fuck? The online requirement has raised preservation concerns. This is bizarre, because... if you don't know, the PlayStation has two options. The PS5 has two options. You've got the physical edition or the digital edition. So now you can buy a physical add-on to your digital edition that requires a digital connection for your physical... What the fuck? Right, yes, it's bizarre. Anyway. Sidis So, thank you for the follow. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I appreciate you dropping in here. You coming just in time for this article where we say the upcoming optional disk drive for the PS5 will require an internet connection to pair it to a console for the first time. As spotted on the back of the box for the upcoming Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 PS5 Slim Bundle, small print confirms that players who purchase the new model with the optional drive will be required to connect to the internet when pairing it to a machine for the first time. My God, that was the longest sentence in the history of the world. Whew. It's likely that this is a security measure in order to ensure that the disk drive is a legitimate one and not a third party. However, it has raised some preservation concerns. Because the accessory will require an internet connection for verification, there will potentially come a time when the servers needed to verify the license will no longer be operational. It's possible that by the time this happens, Sony will release an update that removes the requirement, and in any case, it's likely to be many years in the future, long after the PS5 is Sony's main console. And then we got some embedded tweets that show the tweets in reference. The issue appears to stem from the way that both Sony and Microsoft pair their consoles' disk drives with their motherboards. As explained in a 2020 article by Wired, each disk drive has a daughter board. I didn't even know that was a thing. There you go. A daughter board that pairs with the console's motherboard. Fucking, where's the father and brother board and sister board and goddamn son board? Let's go. Essentially creating a handshake unique to that specific pairing. In the article, Wired removed the disk drives from two launch PS5 consoles and swapped them over, but the consoles would refuse to recognize the other drive, despite them being identical hardware. This may be partly due to Section 1201 of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is DMCA stuff, if anyone doesn't know, by the way, which says it's illegal to circumvent a technological measure that effectively controls access to a copyrighted work, which in this case is firmware on the disk drive. As such, in order to prevent piracy and also third-party repairs, Sony and Microsoft use the pairing method to ensure that each console can only work with the specific disk drive assigned to it, meaning users can't modify or replace the drive. Okay, so yeah, actually, I'll read that bit. That kind of summarizes it nicely. The initial online requirement for the external PS5 drive then may be a security check designed to verify that the drive, then create the unique pairing between the drive and the console. Ta-da! So, I mean, it makes sense when you break it down. It makes sense, and this is one of those like annoying things where piracy and Digital Millennium copyright stuff, DMCA stuff, comes into play, and it makes sense. It's just so frustrating. It's like Xbox TV stuff made sense, but was frustrating at the time. This is frustrating. The fact that you can have an external hard drive, but because of the dangers of sideloading, hacking, firmware jailbreaking, all of that sort of stuff, there is a need for the hardware plugin to be verified by software conditions to make sure that they are compatible and will work together, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just Aurora, you wouldn't steal a disk drive. Well,
it's
actually,
right though, isn't it? I mean, we know that there's going to be some form of bastardization that's going to be going on with the disk drive. They'll find a way to be able to have it read it as a disk drive, but it's actually a hard drive or something like that, won't they? Like, we know that this is going to happen at some point. So I understand from a technical standpoint that they need to have some sort of verification, because like with our consoles now, you didn't get the digital one, right? You've got a digital one, but you got a disc one originally. Yeah, so we know that we're safe in the knowledge that ours is already compatible, but obviously going down the line, you are still going to get the choice of obviously buying the original one and the slimline one. I would always go for the original one for the time being. Just, you know what you're getting from it. The disk drive stuff, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, but if you had any sort of ideas where, I don't know, you might be going away for, I don't know, working away for 2 or 3 months or something, you got your fucking disk drive with you and you clipped it on, and then for whatever reason it's asking you to do some sort of digital handshake, that'd piss me off. You might as well just take it a digital console, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's I don't know, like, just stick with the original one for the time being. If you have any kind of ideas that this isn't going to be for you, then don't get it. genuinely just don't get it.
Because the gist in chat is if you care about preservation, buy the one with the disk drive built in, which does make sense.
100%.
And that's kind of it. It's one of those things that's not going to be a problem for a lot of people. One of the comments, where is it? Leveled Up says, if you don't, it's only really an issue if you don't have internet, though. That or the infrastructure that might not be your internet. Maybe the servers are turned offline, and that's where the preservation stuff comes in. If the servers are offline that you need to connect to, that do the handshake sort of stuff, that's a problem. Or the other thing is, what if the servers are down? Next week, you've got one, and for some reason, their servers go down. Someone fucking hits the wrong button, someone hacks in, they get DDoSed, whatever, and their server goes down. You then can't play your physical stuff at home because you can't ping the server sort of stuff. So that's where other issues come into it. But it is one of those, like, who cares sort of like things, because 99% of people aren't either going to buy it or aren't going to be affected by it because aren't really that bothered in preservation, and it's not the long-term thing because I've got the right things now and I'm going to use it on the right console and so on. So it is one of those who really cares sort of problems, but it is still one of those like underlying sort of not. It doesn't anger me. It's just like it's one of those sort of like weird frustration like things that you get in video games that pop up. Still have the same issue, to be honest. If it fails and the support is no longer there, the hardware is useless either way. Yeah, exactly. Just buy the one with a disc if you're going to do that. But that's the thing though. If people like, you may not be interested in video game preservation right now, but you may be in 2 years' time. And you've already bought the digital one, so you think, oh, fuck it, I'll just get the physical one. You're already so it's one of those things. Like, once again, it's like a 0%, 0.1% or whatever. So yeah. It's Tito says it's not. It's a non-issue. I wouldn't say it's not. I wouldn't say it is a non-issue, but it's pretty much a non-issue kind of thing. So yeah.
I mean, like I say, it's only going to affect the smallest amount of people when it comes down to this anyway. Yeah. Like, the people, like, when was the last time that you turned on your PlayStation 3? If you had, well, you don't have one. So when was the last time that you turned on your PlayStation 4 since you got your PlayStation 5?
I haven't at all, and haven't needed to because I gave it to Chloe, and she plays on it occasionally. But yeah.
I imagine there's people in the chat. If I said when was the last time you still have a PlayStation 3 knocking around the house, when was the last time that you actually turned it on to play on something? And I bet most people are probably going to say 2 years. Or a year at least. Like, it still just affects. I still play my PlayStation 2. It's actually in the office. Me and Jamie played classic Pez on it or whatever, but I am in that very small bracket of people who still buy physical games, providing that obviously our friends at any kind of game developer company want to be able to donate codes to us to be able to play games or whatever. We're in a very privileged position where we end up doing that. But if there's a new game that's coming out and we don't have friends there, I'll buy the physical version of it, because I love to preserve games. I have a shelf behind me here with PlayStation 1 games, Mega Drive games, Xbox original games, 360 games, PS3 games. Like, I love having physical copies of games, but only games that mean something to me, not just for the sake of, oh, well, I'm a game collector, I want to buy everything. I don't want any of that stuff. It's games that actually mean something to me, whether or not it's classic football games or classic survival horror games or something. That's my bag. They're the games that I want to preserve and be able to play at a moment's notice. If I think, do you know what? I haven't played Resident Evil 1 in forever. I'm going to go and play that instead. So, yeah, that I am in that 1%, but I know most of the people that are probably in our chat now want to play the newest and best. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. That's just the type of gamer you are. This is the type of gamer that I am. It's the way that we are programmed and how we get our kicks and what our vices are. So, yeah, it's not going to affect that many people. The digital handshake stuff for having a physical drive blows, but I can understand why, because of it's an external piece of technology, why they have to do it. It's arse, but people will be people. I
mean, that is where, like, some of the most notorious jailbreaks of all time for video game software has come from is the inclusion of outside hardware often allows you to sneak in software. That's where, like, R4 cartridges for DSs and stuff like that all came through from the external cards being put into them and the stuff that goes with that. So it definitely makes sense. It's just it's like I say, it's one of those weird ones. Ones. I played my PS4 about 6 months ago to get the last trophies on Mass Effect 1 to 3. All right, settle down, JMK, mate. God, settle down, mate. And cheap, I always buy a code off the grey market. Sometimes Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be cheap. Tank, I used to buy physical copies religiously, but since the rise of CD keys, it's cheaper 8 times out of 10 to buy a code. Yeah, it's cheaper to buy a code, and it's cheaper to buy a code from external sources if they exist as well, because first party. So yeah, that is also a problem. There will be a way around it, because what they will do, what will they do if the drive goes faulty? There's going to be a code somewhere that will lead to the cipher to get into it if they don't brute force it. There you go. Words. David sounds like he's in one of those tech films, like, we need a cipher to get past the code so we can brute force the network. Yeah, hacker man. I know what that means. Definitely, I'm good with the hacks of the stuff and the things. I've got a big pile of old games, but probably won't ever play them again. I don't often play games beyond Metal Gears. There's very few games, and football games. There's very few games that I go back and play again, because I am very much rose-tinted glasses, and then when I see what it is compared to modern video game development controls, Bibby can go, tank controls, let's go. I'm like, tank controls. Oh. So yeah, no, them action replay cartridges. Yeah, I mean, I'm only talking hypothetically and theoretically, not that what an awful cartridge or whatever.
Yeah, we definitely didn't do anything to our PlayStation Vitas to be able to play PSP games on there, did we?
Bibby just. My God, man.
Well, I said we definitely didn't, so...
Yeah, no, I'm saying... Hack the planet, exactly. I own a bunch of PS1 and PS2 games, but I still end up using an emulator. That's not illegal. That's not illegal. If you own the games, you are legally allowed to use emulators, which is technically what we did with the PS Vita stuff. But, you know...
I have the copies. I have the copies right here, Graham.
Oh, no, me too.
I have the copies. I'm just saying...
Me too. Upstairs as well. So yeah. I can't actually remember the last time I played something off a disc. I think Hogwarts Legacy is the only game I've played in the last year off a disc. I can't actually remember the last time I've done that one. In more favour of what's happened with Metal Gear recently, where I can play the classic games on a modern console. Someone banned West. I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game.
I mean, I'd just take the sword off him. That's disgraceful behaviour. That should have been in the mod application form.
Do you know what? Just for West. Bam 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 bam. Snake. Nice. Metal Gear Solid 3, best game of all time. Just in case you know. I was chatting to someone yesterday who was actually Bibby aligned. He's a Metal Gear Solid 2. He's best game of all time person.
Yes, it is.
It was funny because it was in my DMs asking me formal questions about Metal Gear Solid, and then proceeded to tell me that Metal Gear Solid 2 was the best game of all time. So I instantly went informal and just went, "You are wrong." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Metal Gear Solid 3 is the best game of all time." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Back to your point, though."
Oh god, these are. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3. I own physical copy of it. I haven't given it enough time, Graham. We have this conversation all the time. Metal Gear Solid 3 to me is the inferior, but that is because I've never finished it and I never even got halfway through it. It just didn't. It strayed too far away, in my personal opinion, from what made Metal Gear Solid 2 a fantastic game. But I mean, I'm a lot older now. When I played that, I might have been going through a different phase than what I was when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2. So it might be time for me to be able to go back and actually give it the attention that I think it deserves, because everyone can't be wrong, right? I cannot be the only person that says, apart from whoever else was in your DMs, that was saying Metal Gear Solid 2 is a superior Metal Gear Solid.
It's free. Just check it. Anyway, moving. I can't actually remember the last time I've done that one already. I was looking at audio extractors and I saw your review on one. Don't look at West's reviews. Like, he's clearly dodge. He got his YouTube banned the other day for being dodge. So yeah, there you go. Are you even a gamer if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid? I haven't either, said Tito. Metal Gear Solid 4 was like playing a movie. I mean, yeah. Metal Gear Solid 4, I must admit, was the most difficult one for me, because of like the 2-hour cutscenes. But it was still a great experience. But the cutscenes are the reason that I only played through that once. Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of the few games that I've played multiple times from start to finish on multiple different devices and in multiple different decades. So yeah. Metal Gear Solid 1 is actually the best game of all time. I mean, you are welcome to have your opinion, Mr. Chaos Rise Zero, seeing as you are a very big Metal Gear fan, although you are indeed also wrong. So, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
The last disc I played was Siphon Filter. Here we go. We get Siphon Filter when we're talking about Metal Gear. There's always one, isn't there? It's not the same. God damn.
Else for a game, Siphon Filter.
But that was to get us to a save point to do the soft mod hack.
Oh no, that was Splinter Cell, right? That was Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, not Siphon Filter.
I mean,
Who said that?
David.
Ah, you fucking idiot.
None of them. We always get a Splinter Cell or a Siphon Filter, to be fair. The stair mission on Metal Gear Solid 2 is like going for a piss in spoons.
Do you get that joke?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
I wouldn't go to the toilet in spoons. Fuck that.
To be fair, the two spoons that are local to me actually have really nice facilities.
Get
They're
yourself
actually clean.
Get yourself a ladder in Metal Gear Solid 3. That's what you need. What a thrill. Okay, anyway. Enough Metal Gear. We have to move on. We've got one more story. My first copy of PUBG was a disc. I
think mine was,
No, my first copy was a cardboard sleeve that came with my Xbox One S, and it just had a code in it. Then my PlayStation 4 came a copy from Sony. It was one of the red and white dual disc copies when it first released. So my first one was digital. Although,
yeah,
well,
you lent me a copy of the physical disc.
The dual disc one, yeah.
Yeah.
No Metal Gear Solid 3 subsistence. There's no subsistence, mate. We're all set now. House is a good gear. But yeah, hi. Big Ham. Good afternoon. How was Viewer Games? I had your stream on, but I had a mute earlier on because I saw 12 was in it, but he left to go do school run and stuff. I mean, I don't know how I knew that if the stream was on mute, but it fits my narrative about saying bad things about 12, so we'll just go with it. And then watched a few games after. Nice. Saw Tank as well getting involved. I saw it. Colonel, hi. Tito says read IP. Bully. Welcome in. I had it as pre-release. To be fair, my cunt. Thank you, 12. My
I've never lied to him.
yeah, same. I made a joke the other day where I said that I liked him on stream, but it was purely for joke purposes, and I didn't mean it. Yeah. Okay, so we are talking about all that, and we didn't even have the title on screen. We went on a massive tangent talking about the PS5 having optional disc drives. So if you've got a PS5 Slim and you want a digital and you want the physical option to play disc games, there is an option to get a disc drive for the PS5, but that requires a digital handshake just for copyright purposes. So you might be thinking you're buying a physical console. For non-digital reasons, you still need a digital connection to the World Wide Web so that you can play those games. That was the gist of it, which, when you just look at the title, sounds stupid, but when you dig into it, actually makes sense. And in a modern world, it's probably not going to be a problem for most people, but there are people that live in areas that don't have network connectivity. As bizarre as that sounds for a lot of people, there are still massive areas of the world where people can't do that. So, yeah, just buy a fucking physical one at that point in time. There is ways to get around it. Is what it is. It's nice. Who wants a PS5 anyway? Inferior consola.
Have you got that Spanish act on again?
I mean, he is called El Tank. so there you go. Nice. Okay, final news article of the day, if I can find the Chrome source. I've lost it now because I put the animations on to Metal Gear Solid West there. But there we go. Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer has this article. Grand Theft Auto fans were convinced that a big reveal was coming today, but now they're starting to wonder if Rockstar is just messing with them. The fact that we haven't heard anything, it's 16 hours ago this article was published, makes me feel like they probably were. So this one is a conspiracy theory I can get behind, is the tagline. Grand Theft Auto 6 remains both confirmed and unannounced. A Schrodinger-like state of affairs that has some fans so wound up they're seeing signs and portents just about everywhere they look. The latest harbinger from on high is a tweet about a new outfit being added to Red Dead Online. This is the tweet. What do you see? And this is the tweet, I'll read it out. This month's devilish and dapper Red Dead Online community-inspired outfit comes from YouTuber Bogan Bav. Traverse the map in a sinister style by claiming these items from participating tailors and the Wheeler, Rawson & Co. catalogue. And then it gives you a hyperlink. And then after that, it says, okay, Now, what do other people see? Some see this. And then, obviously, the article continues. It's pretty wild. Somehow, GTA fans have discovered a sign from the powers that be that's even more tenuous than the moon tease from earlier this month. At least, that one had the Roman numeral 6 clearly visible, right? This, on the other hand, is just, well, pretty funny, really. The amusement comes from not the likelihood or lack thereof of a new GTA reveal, but from the fact that, at this stage, I don't think anyone is entirely sure who's taking it seriously and who's stirring the pot. There are no doubt true believers. There are always true believers, but I get the distinct impression that an awful lot of the wind-up is coming from people having an ironic laugh about the whole thing. This theory, dug up by Rock Paper Shotgun, for instance, is bonkers, but, well, maybe right. Okay, so this is the tweet. It says, 24th of October is a high chance to expect a teaser of Grand Theft Auto. Hear me out. Remember the t-shirt that was added in GTA 5 on the 10-year anniversary that says Rockstar says relax? Well, this is a reference to the song Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood that was released on October 24th, 1983. October 24th. What the fuck? That is a stretch and a half there. So, yeah. Goddamn. I don't know if this is the only theory calling for an October 24th reveal, but GTA 6 has been trending on Twitter all day. Make of that what you will. One theory that I can actually buy into without too much effort is that all of this is intentional, not because Rockstar is on the cusp of unveiling GTA 6, but just because it gets a kick out of messing with its fans. I think that sounds like a tremendously fun idea, but is also a high-risk maneuver. People get super mad so easily these days. On the other hand, I have no doubt that all will be forgiven and forgotten the moment GTA 6 is formally revealed to the world, and that does afford Rockstar's social team a certain leeway that most other studios don't have. And then it goes into all sorts of other stuff about the 24th of October, but imagine that. Imagine this is your rumour. On the 24th of October, 10 years ago, a t-shirt was released that says Rockstar says relax, which is just like Frankie says relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which was released on October 24th, 1983. So, a bajillion years later, 4 years to be exact, we're going to get news on GTA 6. Well, it's the 25th today. We haven't had that news. So it's clearly bullshit. But you know what? Well done, Internet, for being so gullible. We appreciate this sort of stuff. Nice. Thoughts, Mr. Bin?
This is the type of stuff that I'm here for, though, Graham. Like, having these stretches for putting 2 and 2 together and then getting 28, mental. But this is what video games is. Literally, like, even though I could say to you, Graham, I know for a fact, I have the paperwork here from Rockstar that GTA 6 will be announced on November 12th. That is a fact. People will still find a way to try and say, actually, no, it's going to be November 9th. You're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Here's the proof that I've found, but it's a friend of a friend of a friend whose source was their dad's dog. Like, they'll still find a way to poo-poo it, even though I have the facts there readily available. Obviously, we don't know the facts of this, but I do like the lengths that people are going to try and find or be the first to say, okay, I found the Easter egg, I found the cryptic clues that they've had put out there for the last 10 years. I do live for this kind of stuff because that's what, for me, makes video games great.
I love the internet, that there is people that assume that they are super sleuths. They are Sherlock Holmes incarnate. I am sitting here as the Hercule Poirot of video games online in 2023 because I can see the patterns. I can smell rumors. When everyone else just sees a Rockstar says relax t-shirt, I know what that really means. And someone somewhere is probably sat there going, called it. But then October 24th comes and goes, and it's like, oh fuck, maybe it was just a Rockstar says relax t-shirt after all.
Well, that's the genius of it, though, isn't it? That's, again, it's the stuff that I can proper get behind. I love that kind of that leaps to it, especially when it's not harmful ones. Do you know what I mean? People haven't like started beating up devs to try and find the time or whatever, or been abusing people. Have literally just spent all of their time on Reddit and gone through video game files to try and find what it is that they've come to. All this harmless stuff, I do love it because it's conspiracy theories. Some of them are batshit crazy, and some of them do get me on side for about 20 minutes until I go, okay, it's another flat Earth thing. But yeah, I love the lengths people will go to.
Let me just 1 second. I was trying to do something, but it'll take me too long to do it on the screen. I was gonna make some massive. Oh, actually, fuck off. Fuck
Wait,
off.
the Earth isn't flat. Yes, it is. I don't believe it.
So okay, here we go. I've got a sticker in my hand that says Gaming Nacho. And you'll notice that the first two letters are G and A. That's G2A, which could be GTA. Which, I mean, if that for me is a pattern there, maybe he's not Gaming Nacho all along. Maybe he's a channel dedicated to GTA all along. And then after that, it says Ming Nacho, which, if you rearrange those letters, you can get moaning. So maybe he is GTA moaning. Sometimes moaning could be for the right reasons. So maybe he is a news channel dedicated to Grand Theft Auto leaks and reveals, and he will have the GTA 6 reveal next week, guaranteed.
Oh.
I've read it. I've seen it in the stars. The tea leaves have shown me the way that GTA moaning is. Yeah, I mean, there's probably other letters I've not used there. C and H weren't in there. Oh, GTA Mohican. That's another one. And Nacho had his hair cut off for on stream for charity. So maybe the Mohican is a tag into Nacho and his hair. So the GTA confirmed again. So yeah, nice. There we go. There you go. Confirmed. Gaming Nacho is a pawn of Rockstar Games and will have the reveal on his channel pretty soon. Facts. Internet bomb logic. Pow. Nice. Is that just product placement for Gaming Nacho? Nah, we don't do product placement for other streamers and their brands. Oh, I've got a bit of an itch. Let me just take my hat off for just 1 second. Just put my new hat on. Nah, I wouldn't do any sort of product placement for Gaming Nacho at all. We don't have any sort of mutual agreements.
Not in your wheelhouse, is it?
Nah, and he wouldn't do the same for us either. He wouldn't wear an ice cream muffler hat on stream or anything anyway. So it's nah. Anyway, that's the end of the stream. So, bloody hell, I've gone to the main stream where my hat is taking up like 90%. God damn. Oh, I didn't even realise I picked up the Gaming Nacho. What's the job? No.
Oh, no.
Nice. There you go. Let me give you RIP Nacho Nuka shirt. I know. That's a throwback, right? So, yeah, let me give you a little bit of a recap if you did come into the stream late. Thank you very much for the raid, Big Ham. I appreciate that. And Sidiso, thank you for the follow. David for the sub. 720 for the follow. Spike for the early raid. And Drew for the bitties up front. I appreciate all that support. But we spoke about Starfield being the biggest Game Pass, biggest ever sub day. So the launch day of Starfield got the most subs on Game Pass in a single day in history, which means it's pretty much doing okay. Nice. Spider-Man is probably the biggest selling game that PlayStation's ever going to have ever in the history of ever until the next one comes along. Nice. The PS5's optional disk drive requires an internet connection to connect because, hackers be hacking. And Grand Theft Auto fans are a lovely, enthusiastic but slightly confused bunch of people on the internet, which is what we all live to see. Nice. Let me catch up. Conspiracy everywhere. Exactly. Hashtag ad. I don't know what you mean. I always wear my Gaming Nacho hat because I also like to use shotguns in games like PUBG where I am extra special, and you can use code Gaming Nacho in your PUBG account if you just go to pubg.com/accounts or crafton.com/accounts. I don't know because I've not memorized the link, but somewhere in there you could choose Gaming Nacho as your PUBG partner of choice, and you could support him by buying things in game with your cash and give it, or you could just give him cash. That'd be the quicker option, and you can give him more of it and have more impact. Whatever. Basically, give Nacho money, but no spawn or ad or anything. Whatever. Nice. ICU is a ward in hospital. You work in a hospital. This ICU are your parents. Dun dun dun. Confirmed. RIP. We have ITU rather than ICU. What's the T stand for? Intensive treatment? Turnip. Toblerone, an internal Toblerone unit. It's for where people have come in with things like inserted. It was one time, Tito. Sorry, I didn't mean to go over it. God damn. Guide the raid. Precision. We always guide with precision, but where would you like the raid to go to? trauma, intensive trauma unit. That's the scoop, really. To be fair, 60 minutes of pure trauma. But yeah, we are going to wrap things up. Let me just see if I missed anything before I do. There's some rumors going around that Respawn is going to announce something on the 28th because they recently fixed the servers for Titanfall 2, and there's a number 7 on something, and the 28th was the release of Titanfall 1, and it's been 7 years since.
I did see actually Respawn was getting new content creators for their team, because there was a guy who did like a proper sincere apology for letting the community down. I can't remember if he's called Frosty or something. So I think they are shaping up for something.
Stay Frosty, yeah.
Yeah. I think they are shaping up for something big. Whether or not it is Titanfall related, I don't know, but I'm fairly certain it is going to be anything Titanfall related, then Next Gen Base, aka Ben Ward, will be a leading man for that kind of news.
Oh, just imagine. He would literally pop. It would just be like, if he was streaming, it would just be like, hi guys, welcome to the stream. My name is Ben from Next Gen Base, and we are about to play Titanfall, and it would just be... just gone. They won't even be like a boom or a splat. It would just be... And he's gone, that's it.
It would be a balloon whizzing around the room.
And then like...
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
On that bombshell, we have other sound effects available. If you want to hear those sound effects, you can tune in from about 6:30 tonight, where I'm going to be playing some PUBG on stream. So please do feel free to join me for that. Before that happens, we're going to drop a raid on one of our friends, which is Precision, because, you know, Tito's asked nicely. And before that happens, we're going to ask Mr. Bib if he has anything else that he'd like to add.
Yes, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. If you want to help shape the remaining, I'm going to say 2, Graham. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we're going to have another 2 episodes this week. Take that with a pinch of salt, ladies and gentlemen. I know. Take that with a pinch of salt, whatever you do. But if you want to help shape the remaining shows this week, there is 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively get involved with our Discord. All the links that you require will be listed below, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time? At some point this week, Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m.
Ish.
Nice. West is laughing at the fact that we've got a Threads link in the chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Get down. Honestly, just stop with the Threads hatred. It used to say hover. That's even worse. That just disappeared one day from the internet.
Literally, I woke up one day and it just wasn't there anymore.
Fuck that. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to hit the start button right now. We've got the raid going to Precision, as requested by Tito. Please do feel free to jump over there. Tito. Precision is playing Hunt Showdown, and he's a good friend of the channel.
With Enzo.
Oh, is he playing with Enzo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he only plays that when he's playing with Enzo. Jeez.
Okay, in that case, you don't need to have any emotes or anything or whatever. Do feel free to go in and write the words, my name's Enzo. That's what we want. My name's Enzo. Do you know, I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat for you, just so you can copy this. My name's Enzo. There you go. Copy and paste that. That's what we want to put into Precision's chat. So he will then say that to Enzo, and we can all laugh hysterically because of how creative and funny we have been on the internet. Fun times. That's it from us, though. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Enjoy the raid and the stream with Precision, and we'll see you in about 2 hours-ish. Time for some PUBG. But until next time, stay frosty.
Stay frosty!